Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Marketing Podcast, your source for all things marketing. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today is a very special reunion 2020 episode. What is that? That's when I had a guest on in the past, and I liked them so much I had to bring them right on back. So today's special return guest is Carolyn Walker. She's the CEO and managing partner over at Response Marketing. Carolyn, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me, Adam. I'm excited to talk to you again.
So I'm excited to get into today's topic. As I was telling you, I've been interviewing and having more and more of food and beverage clients on the podcast and interviewing them, which I'm not complaining because they send me things like tequila and other things, so there's no complaints there, Carolyn. So today's topic, restaurant marketing and food and beverage. But before we do get into that, I don't want to assume all of our new listeners caught your first episode. So how about you give us a little overview of what you're doing over at Response Marketing, please?
Yeah, sure. So Response Marketing is a full-service marketing agency located in New Haven, Connecticut, and we really are more of like a strategy and creative shop. So we're helping our clients basically, with any kind of marketing challenges that they have and coming up with really creative solutions to those. And we work with a really wide range of clients, from very small to very big clients that you would recognize, like the names of Logitech and McAfee and United Technologies, Carrier, Uncle Julio's, you might, with a more regional restaurant brand, Forever Mark Diamonds. The list kind of goes on and on. But so we're really here to support our clients in any of the marketing challenges they have and coming up with, like I said, really creative solutions to those.
What are the right, not necessarily niche because you're full service, but what are the right types of clients in terms of size? Are you working with small businesses, startups, enterprise only? Like, give us a feel for that so that some of the people listening know if they're the right person to give you a call.
It really is a wide range, and I have to say, like right now, we're helping several companies that are brand new get off the ground to, big companies, like I said, Logitech or McAfee, that, need help with more specific, marketing campaigns. And so it does, run the gamut. And I would say to you, people ask me what makes a good client for you. And there are a few criteria for us. And the first thing is, do their needs meet our capability? Number two, is there good chemistry between the two of us, right? Because we're not in it for the short term. We're doing it for the long haul. We've had clients now for 15 years, which is kind of unheard of in the client agency relationship.
That is unheard of. Congrats.
Yeah, the average relationship is usually like 2.5 to 3 years, and so we've had clients for a really long time. And over that length of time, we get to really know them very well, right? And they benefit from that because as we're learning their brand and the intricacies of their client and their audience and their market and stuff, we can come up with better and better solutions to any of their marketing challenges. And then I think the last thing in all of that is, are we passionate about what they do? And I've sat on both sides of the fence. I've been on the agency side. I've also been on the client side for a big part of my career. And I know what it's like to be in a client seat and have agency people that are just kind of, checking in and checking out and not necessarily feeling the love for the brand. And that's just not acceptable to us. Like, I would never want one of my people working on a brand that they were just kind of like about, right? We should be passionate and excited about the brand that we're working on. So those are really it. And I would say, if you think about industry, I'm less concerned about industry, but we do a lot of work in food and beverage, like you had mentioned a little bit earlier, a lot in consumer electronics. We do work in the financial services industry. And we also have become really good podcast marketers as well. So there's a few kind of, specialties here or there if you want to think of them that way.
Let's switch into the topic for today. So restaurant marketing, food and beverage. I mean, what are some of the unique challenges that you see in this space that you're addressing?
Yeah, so it's an interesting question, and I'll tell you that my background, I've spent my entire working life in the food and beverage industry. I was a server in college. When I graduated college, I went to work for Darden Restaurants, which was General Mills Restaurants at the time, and I worked on the Red Lobster brand for about 8 years as a marketing manager in different roles within the U.S. and Canada. And then I went to a startup restaurant company called Sandella's and helped them grow from essentially, a handful of franchise locations to over 150 licensed locations across the country. And then, here at Response, we have several clients in the industry. Two of the key ones are Uncle Julio's, like I mentioned before. It's a polished casual dining concept, Mexican concept based out of Dallas, Texas. And Fortina, which is a pizza and Italian place that has about 5 locations, run by or founded by a celebrity chef, Christian Petroni. So, and what I'll tell you, the reason for that backstory is that, the issue across all of those years and all of the brands that I've ever worked with has been pretty consistent. And that is that the competitive environment for restaurants, food and beverage in general is really, really intense, as you can imagine. And the competition is not just coming from your direct competitors, like, say, Uncle Julio's, right? Direct competitors in the Mexican space, the Mexican casual dining space, but it's also coming from every other alternate that you have for food, right? So it's the home use that you have. It's, my gosh, restaurants are popping up everywhere. C-stores are becoming way more sophisticated with their food offerings. So you're competing for a share of stomach that is, it's everywhere. It's all around you, and it's not easy. It's a really, it's really tough, to get traffic into your restaurants. And I'll tell you that that's the number one issue across all of the brands that we work with is driving traffic into the restaurants consistently.
What do you find are some of the and obviously this is going to change from concept and restaurant, but what do you find are some of the things that are missing from either their marketing or from their overall brand strategy prior to working with you?
Well,
I know
that's an
certain
interesting
themes.
question.
I know certain themes arise over time. Again, it's not going to be a one size fits all, but I know certain themes arise.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll tell you, one of the things that we did on the Uncle Julio's brand is, prior to us, they were really relying on radio to communicate their message to more of a mass market. And they came up with this awesome dessert called the chocolate piñata. And it was
oh my gosh, that sounds, hold on, it's called the chocolate piñata. I guess
amazing.
I'm done. Go ahead. This sounds so good. I want one right now.
It's very cool. It's this handmade ball of dark chocolate, and it's stuffed with fresh fruit and homemade churros. Yeah. And it comes out to your table on this big platter. It's suspended, and you get a mallet, and you bash the thing open.
I cannot even deal with this. Are you serious?
Yes. It is the most amazing thing you have ever seen or tasted in your life.
Oh, my gosh.
And, and so as you can imagine, like here I am explaining it to you, in audio format, which is great. But when you see it, it just takes it to a whole nother level. And so, we worked with them to figure out, how the heck can we produce a television spot inexpensively and repurpose it, obviously, for digital purposes, and get it out there. And we were super successful in doing that. And I can tell you some of the feedback that I've gotten from the brand side is, the quality of the spots that we produce for them is really amazing given the price that we can produce them for. So my advice maybe some other restaurant concepts out there that maybe are thinking about it, saying, oh, I can't afford to do production to get anything on TV. Think again. There's some creative ways that you can do it, and we have gotten really, really good at that. And then the other part, obviously, is the media side, and can I afford media? And so, there's creative ways to look at that too, by buying cable and, tonnage versus quality and things like that. But I'd say the other thing just to kind of like keep in mind about the video in general is that, TV is just one avenue. And now things like you can use that for OTT, right? And getting on, the Hulus and YouTube TVs of the world, right? And getting those cord cutters that you're not going to get in the more traditional media. and then also repurposing the video for other advertising opportunities, right? Whether it's YouTube, pre-roll, or mobile advertising. So there's lots of opportunity to take that that asset that you've built and leverage it in other ways to get as many people as possible to see the message. And so, I talk a lot about, people think everything's, just digital, or, some people are stuck in like traditional. And I feel like you have to really look at the whole population of things that are available to you from a media standpoint and think strategically about what's the right, where's the right place for me to be based on what message I can communicate, and then how do I, effectively get there from a cost and execution standpoint. So I'd say
100%.
that's one. Yeah.
I love it.
And I'd say, thank you. The other thing that I would say, I think that is something we're seeing a lot of, is the ability to get hyper local for restaurants. And so, as you can imagine, restaurants are really part of the fabric of the communities that they operate in. And thanks to digital, it's given us the ability to really identify where our audience is and then surround them with, messaging that helps them make a decision about where to go. And so, there's great Yelp products out there. There's amazing mobile advertising products out there. And you can actually track everything down to a store visit. So not only is the ability to target them there, but you can actually see if they took an action to go into the restaurant as a result of that messaging. So it's pretty amazing. The technology is awesome, and it really does help with that overall problem that we were talking about at the beginning, right? Of traffic, and you can actually see the results.
So I completely agree with you. I mean, and I look at some of the things you're talking about of channels and platforms, we'll say, in digital, right? And being agnostic towards that and really just thinking about how you can better reach your audience. Even for us this year, we did a whole rebrand and just kind of redid our strategy. And we were like, why are we forcing people or educating them on what a podcast is if they don't listen to podcasts? That's not my goal. We want them to hear the content from our guests. So we put it on YouTube. Now we put it everywhere. And we're like, we're totally agnostic on it. And it was like, at first we were thinking, advertisers and YouTube doesn't pay and blah, 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 and that's going to mess with our downloads. And we were wrong. All it did was it attracted a new audience. So now we just attracted more of the 20-year-olds and to the 25, the younger audience, whereas the podcast audience, which we already know the demographics, tends to be a little bit more mature in their career. So it was just that thought process of, are we doing this for us, or do we want to reach more people, and do we want the audience to gravitate to what they want to? So now we're even putting up Pinterest posts. I've never been on Pinterest except for when it was explained to me what it was, because I just hadn't been on that, that platform, but it's just very interesting to me. So Carolyn, I could talk to you about this all day long, but we're about out of time. What is the best way for somebody to connect with you if they want to learn more about response marketing?
Yeah, so email is probably the best for me. It's carolyn@response.agency. And I'm happy to answer anyone's questions that they have for me. Happy to, set up time to chat about their business. Email's the best way to go.
Fantastic. Well, hey, Carolyn, it's been awesome having you on the show today. Great to have you for this reunion 2020 episode. Can't wait to have you back in 2021, see what's going on then, and see about this chocolate piñata and how I get one. But it's cold and it's far, and I'm in California, so I don't think that's happening soon. But I want one, though. I'm just throwing that out there. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. Hope you had a lot of fun listening. We had a lot of fun making this for you. If you did, don't forget, subscribe to the podcast. Leave me a review. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Marketing, then definitely give us a subscribe there and leave them comments in the video and let us know what you thought. And Carolyn, thanks again for coming back on the show.